Here's 3 simple ways to get your first members in your Skool community with absolutely 0 followers on social media. Now, I'm not going to tell you to make YouTube videos or tweets or start a newsletter because a lot of people already know that making content works, but it's not exactly realistic for everybody who has a job or family obligations. By the way, the point of what we're about to do is to get your community to the point where the Skool network actually starts driving community members to your community. In other words, you won't need to make content because Skool is giving you members. For example, this crochet circle community got 96% of its members from the Skool network, or this art community got 25% of its members from the Skool network, and there's thousands of other ones just like this. Okay, so what's the first thing you're gonna do to start getting your first members and triggering the Skool network? Invite your friends and family to the community. This is the easiest way to start by far because everyone has someone, a brother, a sister, a mom, a grandma, someone who can join their community. Convincing strangers is hard. You have to get them to care about you and your thing in their own busy lives, but nobody is going to believe in you quicker than your own inner circle. So invite them first to get your community from 0 to a couple of members. And by the way, if you're worried about the optics of sending a friend or a family member a paid link to your community, you can always use the free invite feature, enter their email, and they'll get lifetime free access, even if you have a paid community. Okay, step 2, become an active and helpful member in other Skool communities. When you participate in other communities, people will naturally check out your profile, right? Think about it. If you see a cool post or see someone comment on your post, the very first thing you're gonna do is go to their Skool profile. And what's right there? It's going to be their own community. We've looked at the data and there are so many signups to new communities that come from profile pages of people going to someone's profile, seeing which communities they're a part of or seeing their own community and then joining. So it's really, really important to have your profile page optimized for when that traffic comes. Have a nice bio and have a good Skool description, which accurately depicts what your community is for. So when people land on it, the right people will join. And when you're actually in these communities, it's most important to just show up authentically. Ask questions, answer questions, show up to the calls, hang out, joke around, just be a presence in the community and people will naturally come to your profile and some of them will join your community. I promise it's easier than you think. Now, one important caveat is that as you're in these groups, you never, ever want to be promoting your own group explicitly. That's a great way to get yourself banned from that group. Instead, just show up and I promise you naturally, people will check out your profile and join your group eventually. Okay, so this last one is pretty crazy. I've honestly never heard anybody talk about it. So let's go to computer now and check it out. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Grok is X's AI model. And the reason why it's particularly useful is that it has real-time access to what people are tweeting down to the minute. So we're gonna ask Grok to make a list of the people who are tweeting actively about the thing that our community is for as a way to identify leads. So what you're gonna do is go to the description of this video and grab this prompt. Now, in this case, I've asked it to look for people who are trying to learn Spanish. We're asking it for people who are particularly searching for advice, answers, and recommendations. In other words, when we respond to them, they're actually going to be open to it. And so what Grok made for me is this spreadsheet with exact tweets taking me to the links where people are expressing frustration trying to learn Spanish, right? So very simply, I really want to learn Spanish. What is the best way to do this? This person asked this question today. So what you could do is respond to this tweet, you could DM this person, and again, treat it like you're in one of those Skool communities. You want to be helpful, you want to give them a unique, personalized solution and not just sell your community. You know, this is the kind of coldest approach of the 3 that we're talking with. The first is your friends, the second is schoolers. These are the people who are least likely to respond to you, right? So you really want to be actually helpful and then, you know, eventually tie them back to your Skool community. This person is asking, what's the best way to learn Spanish? This person is saying, how can I learn Spanish? Not from Duolingo, please. This person is saying, the first thing I hate about learning Spanish, it's grammar. So you could reach out to them with a particular message that says, hey, I saw you're struggling with the kind of grammar aspect of Spanish, and then try to address it in some kind of unique, personalized way. Again, imagine someone DM'd you randomly and tried to sell you something. You would put that in spam. You would delete it. But if they reached out to you and solved your problem for free, no strings attached, you actually might thank them and start a conversation with them. That's how you make friends on the internet and eventually try to get them back into your Skool community. And also, you can really do this anywhere. Reddit groups, Facebook groups, anywhere on the internet. The key is just to be helpful and not salesy. This tool in particular is just awesome because Grok can give you the most real-time live updates of people that are asking about these kind of things, you know, in the moment that day. So to summarize, start with who you know. Invite your friends and family. Hang out and be a valuable member in other communities. And then lastly, go to the cold traffic. Start with the warmest, the people that are most likely to join. Then you can talk with other schoolers who are a little bit less likely to join. And then finally, cold outreach, using these kind of other digital spaces to eventually invite people in. But I promise you, if you start by inviting your family, friends, everything is going to be much easier, because eventually when those other people join, they're actually going to be joining a living, breathing community.